It's the kind of nightmare no parent wants to face and no young woman ever expects. Christine Brown's daughter, Ysabel, is now at the center of a serious lawsuit stemming from a multi-car crash in Utah. Not a tabloid rumor, not an online whisper. This is real. A court case with real injuries, real accusations, and real consequences. The young girl we once saw bravely undergoing scoliosis surgery on national television is now being named in legal documents as the one who caused a violent four-car pileup. The same Ysabel who viewers rooted for, cried with, and watched grow up is now being painted by a plaintiff as reckless, distracted, and negligent behind the wheel. This isn't just a traffic ticket or a scraped bumper. According to the official complaint, Ysabel failed to stop in time during high-speed traffic, slamming into another vehicle and triggering a chain reaction that left someone seriously hurt. That person is now suing for thousands in damages, citing medical bills, emotional trauma, and possible permanent injuries. And suddenly, what might have felt like just another stressful day in traffic has spiraled into a full-blown legal storm, dragging Christine's daughter into a courtroom battle she likely never imagined. Hey everyone, this is David with TLC Sister Wives Recap. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss the biggest updates and most emotional breakdowns from the world of sister wives. And after you listen to this story, I really want to hear what you think, so drop your thoughts in the comments. Because this isn't just about a car crash. It's about growing up under scrutiny, about being held accountable while still figuring life out, and about how quickly a single mistake, one that could happen to any of us, can snowball into something that changes everything. The question now is, what happens next for Ysabel Brown? It was March 30th, 2023, late afternoon. That familiar tension of freeway traffic settling over I-15 in Utah, right near Midvale, a stretch of road known for accidents, bottlenecks, and sudden slowdowns. The kind of road where your grip tightens on the steering wheel without even realizing it. Cars packed tight, inches apart, drivers hoping to make it through the crawl without delay or disaster. But on this day, disaster came. According to the lawsuit now filed, it started with a gray Subaru Outback cruising along in the far left lane just south of Winchester Road. The driver saw traffic slowing and did what every careful driver should do: hit the brakes. Behind her, the second car stopped in time. So did the third. But the fourth car, that one never stopped at all. It was a Honda Humvee, driven by Ysabel Brown. The complaint says Ysabel was trailing too close to react, too close to adjust. In just a split second, her Honda smashed into the back of the third vehicle with enough force to send it careening forward, slamming into the second car, which then slammed into the first. 4 vehicles caught in a chain reaction, and the woman in the Subaru, the one who had been leading that line, was left injured, not just shaken, not just bruised, but reportedly suffering physical injuries that may be permanent. That stretch of I-15 has seen countless accidents, and on that day, it became another entry on the list. Except this time, it wasn't just anyone involved. It was the daughter of Christine Brown, a familiar face to Sister Wives fans, someone viewers had watched deal with physical pain, family chaos, and her parents' divorce. But now, the pain wasn't just emotional or personal, it was legal. The ticket Ysabel received listed the cause as following another vehicle too closely, a small citation on paper, but one that, under Utah law, can open the door to something much bigger. And now, over a year later, that small infraction has snowballed into a lawsuit filed in Salt Lake County, where the plaintiff is seeking damages for medical expenses, loss of enjoyment of life, and long-term suffering. This wasn't just a moment of poor judgment behind the wheel, at least, not according to the lawsuit. It was the moment everything changed. A normal day on the freeway, now frozen in time, a memory turned legal battleground. The time of the accident, Ysabel Brown wasn't some reckless teen tearing through life without a care. She was a young woman in transition, moving out of childhood, stepping into adulthood, trying to carve her own path while still carrying the weight of her family's name. She had just started building a life for herself outside the cameras and the chaos. College was on the horizon. Her mom, Christine, had recently found love again and was preparing to start a new chapter with David Woolley. The Brown family was fractured. Cody's plural marriage was unraveling, and Ysabel, like many of her siblings, was quietly navigating the emotional fallout behind the scenes. She wasn't a main character in the public drama. She wasn't out making headlines or giving interviews. Ysabel had always come across as grounded, thoughtful, and mature beyond her years, especially after enduring major surgery for scoliosis while her father Cody chose not to be there. That moment alone had drawn a line in the sand for many fans. It showed her strength, her resilience. And now, not long after finding some stability, she was suddenly under fire in a way she never saw coming. Being named in a lawsuit is overwhelming for anyone, but for a young adult still finding her footing, it can be devastating. The paperwork, the legal language, the accusations of negligence. It's not just about the money, it's about your name, your responsibility, your future. And it doesn't help when you're the child of a nationally known reality TV family. Every mistake feels magnified. Every misstep becomes public fodder. People have opinions before they even hear the full story. This isn't the first time a Brown child has faced legal fallout from a car accident either. Pedon Brown went through something similar years ago in Nevada. He rear-ended someone, and a lawsuit followed. In that case, Cody was also pulled into the legal battle because the car involved was registered to him. It ended in arbitration, with a sizable judgment awarded to the plaintiffs. Different time, different person, but the echoes are hard to ignore. Ysabel now finds herself in that same uncomfortable spotlight, not for who she is, but for what happened in a moment 1 second on the road that could happen to any driver. The difference is, her mistake comes with headlines, a legal complaint, and an entire nation watching to see what happens next. When the lawsuit finally hit the court system in June of 2025, it wasn't just a standard claim over vehicle damage or minor bruises. It was a detailed and emotionally loaded legal complaint that laid serious blame at Ysabel Brown's feet. The woman suing her, who had been in the front car of that 4-vehicle chain reaction, alleges that Ysabel was not just following too closely, but was flat-out negligent. That she failed to slow down, failed to pay attention, failed to control her car the way any responsible driver should. And because of that, the woman says her body and her life have never been the same since, according to the legal filing. The crash left the plaintiff with injuries that may be permanent. She claims she has suffered not only physical pain, but emotional distress, a diminished quality of life, and even a loss of ability to perform daily activities and enjoy hobbies. She's asking for damages to cover her medical bills, already reported to exceed $3,000, and to make up for lost time, lost income, and the pain she says she continues to feel every day. Under Utah's comparative negligence law, things get a bit complicated. Utah follows what's called a modified comparative fault system. That means if someone is injured in an accident, they can sue the other driver for damages as long as they themselves are not more than 50% responsible. In this case, the woman claims she did everything right. She stopped. The drivers behind her stopped, but Ysabel didn't. And because of that, she believes Ysabel bears full responsibility for the crash and the pain that followed. Now, before someone in Utah can sue for negligence, they have to clear a few legal hurdles. One of those is proving they had at least $3,000 in medical expenses. Another is showing they've suffered real, significant physical harm. This isn't just about being sore for a few days. The plaintiff is saying her injuries are serious, ongoing, and worthy of financial compensation. But perhaps the most striking part of this case is the timing. The crash happened back in March of 2023. The lawsuit wasn't filed until over 2 years later. That delay might seem odd, but legally, it makes sense. Victims are often required to exhaust all options through insurance first. And if that doesn't cover the costs, or if there are disputes about liability or underinsured drivers, only then can a civil lawsuit be filed. For Ysabel, though, the delay could have real consequences. 2 years after the accident, she may have thought the worst was behind her, but instead, she now finds herself forced to defend her name in court. The longer timeline also means more media attention, more public chatter, and a renewed wave of scrutiny that she didn't ask for. And let's be honest, there's an emotional toll to all of this. Facing a lawsuit at any age is scary. Facing one when you're just stepping into adulthood, when your life is still taking shape, is something else entirely. The money is one thing, the legal process is another. But the weight of being publicly blamed, of being seen not just as a driver in a crash but as the cause of someone's suffering, that's a burden that can linger long after the court case ends. For most families, a car accident, no matter how serious, remains a private ordeal. Something handled quietly through insurance, maybe a lawyer or two, and a lot of emotional processing behind closed doors. But when your last name is Brown, and your life has played out in front of millions for over a decade, privacy is a luxury you just don't have. And for Ysabel, that reality is now hitting harder than ever. This isn't the first time someone from the Brown family has ended up in a legal mess involving a car crash. Back in 2018, Pedden Brown, Christine's only son, was involved in a rear-end collision while driving on a busy Nevada road. Just like Ysabel's case, it was a chain reaction crash. And just like now, the situation quickly turned serious. But in Pedden's case, there was an added complication. The vehicle he was driving belonged to Cody. That detail dragged Cody into the legal battle as well. The women involved in that accident filed a lawsuit, claiming serious injuries and damages. Rather than going through a full trial, the case ended up in arbitration. The result? A judgment in excess of $30,000. It was a hard, expensive lesson for both Pedden and Cody, and a painful reminder that being on TV doesn't protect you from the real-world consequences of a split-second mistake. What makes Ysabel's situation even more heartbreaking is that she never asked for the spotlight. She didn't seek out fame, controversy, or attention. In fact, throughout her appearances on Sister Wives, she came across as one of the more private, reserved members of the family. Her most public moment was undergoing major surgery without her father by her side, a wound that left emotional scars many fans still remember. And now, just as she's stepping into independence, trying to live a quieter life, she's pulled right back into the public eye this time, not for her strength, but for something deeply painful and humiliating. It's not just the lawsuit, it's the headlines, the online chatter, the judgment from people who don't know her, who see only a name in a legal complaint and assume the worst. Every detail, every line in that court filing is now being dissected by strangers. And that's something most 20-somethings never have to deal with. For the Browns, this is just another reminder of the cost of their reality TV fame. Every stumble is magnified. Every misstep becomes a headline. And for someone like Ysabel, who never signed up to be a celebrity in the first place, the emotional toll can be enormous. This isn't just a legal issue, it's a deeply personal moment being played out on a public stage. And no matter how the case ends, the experience will likely leave a mark on her life that goes far beyond a court judgment. For young drivers, getting behind the wheel is a major milestone. It's freedom, independence, the beginning of adulthood. But with that freedom comes a responsibility that isn't always easy to grasp, especially when life is moving fast and money is tight. Insurance, in particular, can feel like just another monthly bill, something you barely think about until the worst happens. And in Ysabel Brown's case, that worst-case moment may have come at the exact wrong time. When the crash happened, Ysabel was likely still adjusting to a new chapter in her life. Christine had just moved on with David Woolley. The family dynamics were shifting. College life, new routines, new expectations, all of it colliding with the pressure of growing up in a very public world. In the middle of all that, a single moment on the freeway changed everything. A missed stop, a violent impact, a lawsuit. The problem is, if a driver, especially a young one, doesn't have the right kind of coverage, the financial consequences can be brutal. Liability-only policies might cover damage to another person's vehicle or some medical bills, but they don't always come close to what's needed when injuries are long-lasting or claims are high. And if the insurance company decides not to pay, or if the driver was underinsured, that's when lawsuits like this start appearing. We don't know the specifics of Ysabel's insurance policy, and we're not here to speculate, but the fact that this case is in court at all suggests that something wasn't fully resolved through insurance alone. That puts a heavy burden on someone barely into her 20s, facing legal bills, facing financial risk, facing questions about how this might affect her credit, her savings, even her ability to move forward in her career or education. And what makes it even harder, this kind of accident is incredibly common. Rear-end crashes happen every single day. On highways, in neighborhoods, at stoplights. Most drivers have had at least one close call. Some have been in similar accidents themselves. But when your name is Brown, and your family's drama is already known to the world, even a common traffic mishap becomes national news. For Ysabel, the stakes are much higher than for most. It's not just about what happened that day on I-15. It's about everything that comes next: her finances, her public image, her peace of mind. One moment behind the wheel, one mistake. And now, she's not just a college student or a daughter. She's a defendant, And that's a title no young person should ever have to carry alone. Ysabel Brown didn't wake up that morning thinking her world was about to change. She didn't set out to hurt anyone. She wasn't looking for headlines, or courtrooms or judgment. But now, she's living with the aftermath of a crash that went far beyond broken glass and traffic delays. She's facing a lawsuit that calls her negligent, a legal document that puts a dollar sign on someone's pain and points the finger squarely at her. For someone so young, this kind of weight can be unbearable. It's not just the court dates or the paperwork. It's the shame, the questions, the way people talk about you like they know your heart, your intentions, your life. It's the fear of what this might mean for your future, for your bank account, for your reputation, for your peace. Ysabel didn't ask to grow up in the spotlight. She didn't choose the cameras. But now, because of her last name and her family's fame, even a tragic mistake on the road becomes a public trial. And that's a different kind of punishment, one that lingers long after the headlines fade. This lawsuit, whether it ends in a settlement, a trial, or simply gets dismissed, will leave its mark. Because legal battles don't just take money. They take time. They take focus. They take emotional energy that a young woman just starting out in life should never have to give. This is the part no one sees. The sleepless nights, the second guessing, the feeling of being swallowed by something so much bigger than yourself. And maybe that's where we can pause, all of us, and remember that behind every name in a news story is a real human being. One who's still learning, one who's made a mistake, one who, like so many of us, just wants to move forward. If you've made it this far, thank you for being here. This is David with TLC Sister Wives Recap. Make sure you're subscribed, because we'll keep following this story as it unfolds. And if you have thoughts, questions, or even just a message of support for Ysabel or the woman affected by the crash, drop it in the comments below. These moments are never easy, but sometimes, just being seen, just being heard can make all the difference.